Hello and welcome to Conversations. I'm your host, Robin Torres. Our guest today is Sam West, owner of Chick-fil-A in Kansas City, Kansas at the Speedway. Although Sam is not a Wyandotte County native, he has spent 17 of the last 20 years right here in Kansas City, Kansas. A retired financial executive of 30 years, West came out of retirement and bought Kansas City, Kansas's own Chick-fil-A restaurant here in Kansas City, Kansas. Thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
So you were a retired financial executive at what company?
HFC.
Okay.
Yes.
30 years.
30 years.
So what brought you here to Kansas City?
Well, actually, from the start, my wife was a chemist for Mobil Oil, and she got transferred here, and that's really where I signed on with HFC. I started as a branch manager and really worked my way up to a vice president running this district for years.
Okay, so after retirement, most people would just want to retire, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you selected to purchase a Chick-fil-A restaurant right here at the Speedway.
That's correct. Yeah, actually, it was really interesting because everything Diane and I had done was to work and save for retirement. And so when it finally came, we decided to relocate back to the South, which was Atlanta. And it was at that point that after about 3 years into retirement, I got a little bored. And then my wife kept asking, so what are you going to do with your time? And I found that you could only play so much golf. But I was eating in a Chick-fil-A restaurant one day, and I saw the most amazing thing. I saw that the guest was happy, and then I saw that the employees was happy. And that really inspired me to inquire about becoming a part of the Chick-fil-A family. And I say family because that's what it really is. It is not your traditional restaurant. It is one that really is grounded on service, having a servant heart. And so I began my quest to learn more about it. So I would spend really the next 5 months and travel 7 states, eating at Chick-fil-A 3 to 4 times per day before I made my decision to buy.
Okay, so the Speedway location, you knew that they were looking at that location prior to you putting in your application, I assume, to purchase that store. Were they specifically looking at the Speedway?
They had actually identified the Speedway in 2008, but I was not aware that they had identified that particular site, because at the time that I became interested, I would go anywhere with Chick-fil-A. I believed in the company that much, and I believed that it could be successful regardless of where I relocated at. But when it really came down to it, and I found out that they were going to open a store here, I became very intrigued because I have so many relationships here, and it was this community, Wyandotte County, that made me who I am today. When I started out as a young branch manager, the support, the coaching, the inspiration that I got from the community really won my heart, and it inspired me to not only look at where I was in life, but really what I owed to community. And so that was one of the reasons I got excited about coming back here, because I had an opportunity to give back to a community that had given so much to me in my younger years.
Well, that's a very good compliment. I am from Kansas City, Kansas, so very proud of our county. Well, take us through the process of trying to purchase this Chick-fil-A.
Well, it was really interesting because what happens is that you put in a letter of interest, and then they will decide whether or not they will invite you to their private, confidential site so that you can put in a formal application. Once you get invited to that, that's where they have actually invited a pool of applicants to just apply. And so in that pool, there was a total of 27,000 applicants. It is a very, very difficult process to really go through, because what's happening is you are becoming partner with the founder, who is Truett Cathy. And so just imagine the character of this guy, the standards that he's set over the years, what type of partner you were going to be with. And so They wanted to make sure that whoever they brought into the organization would mirror their value system. And so 27,000 applicants, and then they reduced it down to 15, and then I was selected for this particular location.
What is their process of narrowing down to the number that they selected? What was that?
That's a very good question. What happens, Robin, is that after your application is put, you then will have a phone interview. And then after that phone interview, you will go through another series of about 15 interviews. And the interview process will last anywhere from a year and a half to, in some cases, 5 years. And so you have to really be clear on what you want, why you want it, and why you're prepared to make the sacrifices that is needed to get there.
Were those some of the questions that were asked? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
And really the question that came up is, Sam, you've been in the financial industry for all these years. Why are you interested in going into the restaurant business? And my response to them was this: I'm not interested in the restaurant business at all. I'm interested in Chick-fil-A because of your value system, because of what you stand for. And really it parallels to what I stand for and what I believe in, because growing up in Mississippi, I was number 12 of 16 children. My dad made an annual income of $4,900 per year. I'm first generation in college. So understanding all of those things, and really the thing that my dad gave me, he said there are 3 things that you need to live by. And those are our value system. Number 1, integrity. Always do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Number 2, make sure that you have high work ethics. In other words, if you're paid for a day, you should give a day's work. And then the one that was most crucial is always be sound in your family. A good family life produces good employees and good leadership. And so that became really my value system. And then when I looked at Chick-fil-A, that was also their value system, because a part of their mission statement says that we want to have a positive influence on all who comes into Chick-fil-A. Now think about that. Here's a restaurant that you're focused on impressing and influencing those that come to dine with. That's why we refer to them as our guests, because they're coming to our house to dine.
Okay, so when I come to Chick-fil-A, I get this wonderful experience with the employees. I go to another fast food restaurant. I won't name any names. What is the difference? Can I tell the difference when I walk in the door?
I think you will see a clear difference when you walk through the doors of Chick-fil-A versus other fast food restaurants. We consider ourselves a quick service restaurant and not necessarily a fast food restaurant. The difference between the two is that all of our foods are made by hand in the back versus others who's prepackaged. And so, and the fast service or the quick service comes in delivering the food from the counter to the guest. One of the clear differences that you will see when you walk into our restaurant is the spirit of our team member. They're excited about you being there. The second thing that you will witness, and you'll share with others, is really the taste of food. Our food is second to none in terms of quality, in terms of health. And then the other thing that you will experience that you will really appreciate, and this is one of my core beliefs, is that the place should always be clean. And so when you begin to look at Chick-fil-A versus others, you get excited about the warm feeling that you get when you interact with our team members, like when they come around to the tables to refreshen your drink or take your debris off the table. All of those things that we do, and we're not a 5-star restaurant, although it might sound as though we are a 5-star restaurant.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with that thought. We'll be right back in just a moment.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man. Oh dear, I can't afford that.
Charge it. You can pay it off later.
Not so fast, credit card guy.
Savings man.
Don't let him entice you, ma'am. Credit card guy can lead you to big trouble. You need a savings plan.
You're right, savings man.
Get this ballpark estimate worksheet at choosetosave.org. It will help you get started.
Gee, thanks, savings man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org and get your ballpark estimate today.
Hi, we're back with Sam West, owner of Chick-fil-A, a restaurant here in Kansas City, Kansas. Okay, so let's go back just a little bit because we're going to go through finding out that you were selected as the final candidate to open up the Chick-fil-A out here.
Well, Robin, that was probably one of the most exciting days that that my wife and I had experienced in many years, which was the day we were selected as operators of the Chick-fil-A Plaza at the Speedway. And that was a Thursday. Normally what happens is after my 15 interviews, they finally will bring in your wife so that she can participate in that final phase or final stage of the interview process, because what they want to make sure is that she understands what you're embarking upon and understand the journey that you're about to travel. And so not only will she understand it, but get a chance to celebrate and rejoice doing it. So they invited us to the corporate office, and we drove down and we met with several execs there, and we went through another 10-hour interview. And at the end of the 10 hours, they decided that they would bring us back for a second day to finalize the process. So we were about 50 miles from the corporate office, and we are driving back home. And my wife looks at me at exit 109, and she says to me, she said, "You know that you're not going to get the restaurant." I could see it in their body language, and I can hear it in their tone. And so I believed that we were going to be successful. And so I actually claimed victory at that point. I shared with her, I said, "I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull off at exit 109, and we're going to have a victory celebration." This is before we knew we were going to get the restaurant. And she said, "A victory celebration?" I said, "Yeah, I just believe it's going to happen." Well, 5 minutes after that, we get a phone call from the corporate office, and they said, "We never award a restaurant to anyone over the phone. We always like to do it in person. But we found that we could not afford to let you guys go through the night not knowing whether you were going to get the restaurant." So at that time, at that moment, we was awarded Chick-fil-A Plaza at the Speedway. And so we were excited.
Okay, so now you say you claimed it, right?
Absolutely.
What gave you that? What gave you that feeling?
Well, one of the things is, Robin, I'm a believer, and I always have been, and always will be. And really, Chick-fil-A is based on a Christian principles. And so knowing that that really God has brought me that far, and I had been obedient to his word, I just felt like we had done everything that was required of us. And there was no reason for me to doubt that we were not going to be successful even at that point. And I think it was probably most important for Diane, because seeing her move from that point to seeing victory happen right before her really caused her to be not only excited, but really convinced that this is the way that we should be traveling. Because one of the things I had shared with her is that we're not getting involved with Chick-fil-A to make money. And making money certainly is a part of it. But what we really wanted to do is really be able to pour into the lives of young people and pour into the lives of those who are within our community. So use Chick-fil-A as a vehicle to really connect the community in a way that says that it's okay to break bread together, but yet get to know your neighbor. And so we use that as a foundation to do that. So that selection process and that final decision to select us was key, not only to us, but the difference that I believe that having that store here can make in this community.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for coming then. Okay, so now you're opening the store. You got the word that you have it. You're opening the store. You're looking for employees. You're looking for the employees that will fit the Chick-fil-A family.
Yes.
What are you looking for? Because there are all sorts of potential employees out there looking for jobs. What are you looking for?
Well, the first thing that I'm looking for when I started this process, I was looking for people that wanted to work. Remember now, when you go back and look at my core values, one of them was having a strong work ethic. And so I was looking for people and began to interview people that had a really desire to work, but not just a desire to work, but a desire to serve, have servant heart. And as I began to look at that, what I did is I said, okay, let me identify all of the high schools in the district. And I want to recruit from every high school. I want a representative from every high school in the district. Not only the Kansas City, Kansas district, but the Piper district, the Bonner district, the Turner district, all of those areas, so that we could have a representative. And so identifying those who were willing to work, identifying those who had servant hearts, and identify those who were leaders within their school. Because we believe that if we recruited from every school and gave them the opportunity to recruit others, then we could really build not only a team, but a family. And we see our group as not employees, and we don't refer to them as employees. We really refer to them as team members, which brings them closer to being a family. Because if in fact, now I talked about having sound family values as another core value.
Right.
Well, if you think about that, if the people you invite to be a part of your team have servant heart, then you really don't have to train to serve, because it is their desire to greet and serve people. That's why when you come to Chick-fil-A Plaza at the Speedway, you see the enthusiasm, you see the excitement, and you see the commitment to excellence. And so selecting those team members, we then form what we call a advisory board, where team members will get to select or to invite others to be a part of the team, because they understand what our standards are. And so we went through about 90 days of selecting our team members. And really, after the team members were selected, then what we did is we spent countless hours of developing and working with those team members so that they would understand the culture. Because with Chick-fil-A, what they look for is a culture that is going to be reflected and consistent regardless of what city, state, or town that you're in. Because what you're looking for is when you go to Atlanta or Los Angeles, you want that same good Chick-fil-A sandwich, but you want to be served by the same quality of team member. And so that's what we look for.
That's true. Okay, we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with Sam West, owner of Chick-fil-A.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Look, honey, the neighbors just bought a big screen TV.
Hey, I just got a bonus at work. Maybe we should get one too.
Hold on there.
Savings Man.
Using your bonus to secure your future by paying down debt or saving is a better way to go.
Well, I declare you're right, Savings Man.
Stay ahead by choosing to save. And don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
But their name is Johnson.
For more tips and tools, visit choosetosave.org today.
Hi, and welcome back to Conversations. We're here with Sam West, owner of Chick-fil-A. We're back. Question. How do you continue with your team members to keep them on the same track of thinking of themselves as team members when they walk through your doors?
Well, one of the things we do, Robin, is we really cast a vision. And our vision is to experience greatness through the eyes of those we serve. To experience greatness through the eyes of those we serve. So when you cast a vision, what you first must do is make sure that your people or the team members that work with you understand what the vision really means. Not just words, but understand it and believe in it. The second thing that we do to inspire our team members is we do cross-training. We also do empowerment, which is very critical. And in order to do that, the first thing we must do is invest in our team members, developing their skill set, and making sure that they understand what it is that we're asking of them, and make sure that they have an understanding of how to execute the plan that we've put before them. So we invest in them, teaching them skill set, but we also pour into their lives. We want them to be more than just a team member that shows up, but we want to know what's going on in their personal life and how we can make a difference within their household, while they're at school or whatever, so that they have a resource that they can draw from. So when they feel that they have that, and they feel as though you care, they're willing to give their very best every day. Here's the second part of that, though, is that if I'm from a high school, local high school, which many of them are, and I'm telling them as their leader that the only way that I'm going to hire another kid from that high school is that you have to perform above average, because you will be the person that will decide who will come from that high school and work for Chick-fil-A. If you are performing at a below average, you probably won't get another student from your school. So you will become the person that can either lead them in or prevent them from entrance. And so when we do things like that, then they claim it, and they become owners of those kids, those hundreds of kids that are at their high school. And one of the other things we do is that we look at their report cards. If their grades should go down after they've started to work for us, we will reduce their hours. If their grades continue to go down, we will lay them off and hire a tutor to ensure that they can get it back up to where it needs to be. Because really, that's a part of us pouring into the lives of our kids and making sure that we understand that we have to make a difference through them if we're going to impact the community we do business in.
You guys hired the tutor.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Because that's our focus. We want to make sure that our kids are of good quality. We want to make sure that they are adequately prepared so when they go off to college. And speaking of college, if an employee has or team member has a minimum of 2,000 hours working with us, we will give them a $1,000 scholarship every semester that they're in college.
Wow.
The second thing that we do, which really fosters them being committed to us, is that while they're off in college, their position is never eliminated. So whenever they come home, all they have to do is call and they're back on the payroll. We are making a commitment to the total person, not to just a team member within Chick-fil-A, because we believe we owe it to them.
Now, are these the core values of all of Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, when you go to one Chick-fil-A, you pretty much have been to all Chick-fil-A, because that's just our culture. We believe, when I talk about having a servant heart, it goes beyond the four walls of serving chicken, although that's our foundation, and that's the vehicle to really connect with the community. But it is really through our inspired spirit and our leadership within Chick-fil-A that really brings in the type of people who are willing to give their very best every single day.
Okay. I have two final questions. The first of the final question is, what is your vision for the future of Chick-fil-A right out there at the Speedway?
One of the vision that I have for the Chick-fil-A Plaza at the Speedway is to make sure that we can bring the community together through our store and really begin to create what we call real neighborhood, a real community. So that if I see a person in that restaurant every week, at some point I should be willing to at least speak to them. And so one part of my vision is to make sure that we can build a community using Chick-fil-A as a vehicle. The other part of it is really to bring in seniors, citizens, and have them engage in the process where they can help to form the character of those kids who are working there. So we do two things. We bring the kids for energy, and we bring the senior citizen for character development. Okay. That helps to build the whole person, which will help to build the community.
Okay. Final question.
Yes.
What has impressed you the most about your business being in Kansas City, Kansas?
You know, the thing that has been most impressive, Robin, has been the spirit of the guests. The spirit of the guests. We share with the guests. They say, you guys serve so well. You guys do such a phenomenal job in serving us. And our reply to them is this: it's easy to serve kind people. It's easy to serve kind people. Wow. And we believe that the people in Kansas City, Kansas are kind people. And so we serve with that type of spirit.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming and being on this show and inspiring our kids in Wyandotte County and beyond, for taking these high school students and molding them, teaching them your same values and ethics.
Yes.
We thank you. We appreciate you.
It has been my pleasure, Robin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for being with us today on Conversations. And have a good evening.